Hey BC, it's Jonathan, the cheap and cheerful record collector. Hope everybody's doing well out there today. It's been a while since I've done a video. It's summer in Maine, and it seems like everybody wants to come to Maine to visit in the summertime. So we had a lot of guests recently. Lots going on. 2 weeks ago, I celebrated my 75th birthday, which I'm still in denial about. Last week was my son's 43rd birthday, and the next day was my grandson's 13th birthday. And today, my wife and I are celebrating our 36th wedding anniversary. So there's been a lot of celebrations, a lot of people coming and going, and I've just been busy, haven't had a chance to do any videos. I have not stopped buying. I'm still buying lots of records. I got lots to show, which I'll do probably in the next video, which will be a new finds video. But this is going to be the summer vinyl tag video that Dylan put together. Yeah, it's great to have a summer tag. I think it's great. He got a lot of great questions, so I got my cheat sheet and I got the questions, and let's get on it. The first one was an album with summer in the name. So, being a jazz hound, I thought of immediately Paul Desmond, and this is his album Summertime from 1964. With Paul Desmond on this album, we have Ron Carter, Herbie Hancock, Airto plays drums, Bucky Pizzarelli on guitar, all sorts of great people. Irby Green and J.J. Johnson on trombone, Joe Venuti on marimba, all sorts of great people. A great album, Summertime. Paul Desmond on the A&M label. Nothing special there. You've all seen the A&M label many times. But a great jazz album. And, yeah, songs are Samba with Some Barbecue. Someday My Prince Will Come, Autumn Leaves, North by Northeast, and the song Summertime. Nice big gatefold. So that's your summer album. Paul Desmond, Summertime. Number two. Latest Heavy Pull. All right, this is a record I sort of been wanting for quite a while, and for my birthday I went out and treated myself. So it is John Lee Hooker, Burnin' Hell, originally recorded in 1964. This is a 2024 craft recording. As you see, I still have the plastic. I haven't even taken the plastic off yet. But it's just a great album. He does songs you know, but you really don't. He does them in a way you're not familiar. I'm not familiar with. He does Smokestack Lightning, and you really don't realize what it is till halfway through. Key to the Highway, also done in a very different way. Great country blues from John Lee Hooker, Burnin' Hell. Number 3, Whack-A-Mole. All right, let's go back here, and I'll close my eyes and dig around and see what we got. Oh, Paul Simon, Still Crazy after all these years. This album from 75. I was living in New York City in a studio apartment by myself when this came out, and I played this constantly the summer of 75. This was on my, just perennial. Just kept over and over. This is the album for me of summer of 75. Paul Simon. Still Crazy after all these years. Everyone knows this album. I don't have to go through it. But fantastic stuff. An album cover with an animal on it. All right, this is going to be a twofer. This is going to be an album with a cover on it, which is number 3. And it's also going to be number 13, which is an album from far away. And it is Songhoy Blues and their album Meet Me in the City. There's a nice camel on the cover. They are from Mali. They played here in Portland a couple of years ago. I went to see them. They were fantastic. It's on the great yellow vinyl. And there's the camel again. So great Afro-pop. The guitar player reminded me of Jimi Hendrix, and the lead singer reminded me of James Brown. It was quite an amazing show. Really great. It's only EP, only has 5 songs on it. But just great stuff. From away from Mali in Africa, and an animal on the cover, Songhoy Blues. Meet Me in the City. All right, number 5. Oh, excuse me for a second there. My list went away for a second. Number 5, an album with a great story. All right, it's a story. How great it is, a story. A good friend of mine, I must have told the story before, passed away about 10 years ago now, 10, 11 years ago. And when he did pass away, his partner called me up and said that he had all these records, 6 boxes of records that he wanted me to have. And at that point, I had sold all my records. And so about 12 years ago, probably at least. And I had no vinyl at all at that point. I sold everything, and I was doing some CDs. And I went down and picked up all these records that Alan had. And I started going through them. I kept a lot. I sold a bunch. But this is one of the records from them. And every time I hear this record, I think of Alan. And this is Horace Silver Song for My Father, which is just a great album. It was originally released in 64. This is an 84 DMM pressing. Sounds fantastic. But yeah, every time I think about this, I play this album, I think of my buddy Alan, who passed away from cancer 12 years ago now, I guess. So yeah, that's the story on that one. An album be surprised to see in your collection. I don't be totally surprised, but I don't have many of these, and this is a classical album, and this is Tchaikovsky Concerto No. 1 in B-flat minor, Opus 23, with Van Cliburn on the piano. This is so rare for me, it's still sealed, and this is from 1958. So someday I'll open it and play it, but right at the moment, I think you'd be surprised. I don't have many classical albums in my collection. A Cheap Heat. Oh, I saw this once a couple times ago, about 3 or 4 videos ago. I went to a local Goodwill, and there's a whole bunch of jazz albums, and everything was $2, except it was Senior Citizen Day, so it was 20% off, so it was really $1.60. And I'm finding jazz albums, all sorts of stuff. It was great. I had like 40 records. But then I saw this one, knew nothing about it, but when I saw the cover, I knew I had to take it home. And it was New Orleans Washboard Blues with Blind Snooks Eaglin, Percy Randolph, and Lucius Bridges. Original pressing, 1961. And the label is like really plain label. Discog medium price on this is $125. I love the record. I was shocked to see, picked up for $1.60 and find out that later that's worth $125 is pretty amazing. But great album. New Orleans Washboard Blues. All right. Favorite music documentary or biopic? Wait a second, this one. A 45, I'm sorry, a 45. I don't collect 45s. So I thought I'd show a 10-inch Joe Jackson Look Sharp. 2 10-inch records. Originally, there was a button here that said Look Sharp. And unfortunately, both as used, didn't come with that, obviously. And there's I'll show you the label. Joe Jackson, Look Sharp. So yeah, it sounds really good. 45 RPM, 2 10-inch LPs. I have a number of 10 inches, but this one I really enjoy. I have also a full 12-inch album, copy of this, but really great stuff. Joe Jackson, Better Look Sharp. Favorite music documentary or biopic? I don't have my favorite, but it's really interesting. I was watching our local PBS station a number of years ago, and they have this documentary, and it's called American Epic, and this is The Sessions. So what it was is that Jack White found an original recording machine that they used in the 1920s that they took down south to record the Carter family and all those other people. And they actually took the machine and refigured it, made it work again, and fixed it up, and then recorded all these people on this original machine with no, I mean, it's all analog, obviously, no electronics. And the machine had a, right here, you can see there's a weight there, a counterweight. So the way the machine worked is the counterweight would go up, they'd bring the counterweight up, and as the counterweight fell, it would make the machine work, and so there was no electricity. It just made all the parts work, and the record would spin, the needle, they'd track the record, they'd track the thing and create a record. It took about 3 minutes for the counterweight to go there and hit the floor, so each song had to be within a certain time period. It's right around 3 minutes. So on this record, they got some of the greatest musicians of the era of the time, and again, everything was all strictly analog, direct to disc, no overdubs, no second takes. So you have the Alabama Shakes, you have Elton John and Jack White together, Steve Martin and Edie Brickell, Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard, Jack White, Renata Giddens, Los Lobos, the Avett Brothers, Beck is on here, Pokey Lafarge, Taj Mahal, Lost Bayou Ramblers, I don't know, Betty LaVette, and again, Pokey Lafarge, another one, Jack White, Stephen Stills on here. So it's a 3-record set, fantastic, American epic. I don't know if the documentary's still out there, but it's really interesting, and it shows them recording all the album and getting the machine fixed up to work. It's really cool. Good stuff. American epic. And that was, I measured a box set. This box set I might have shown before, but I have a number of box sets. Not a big box set fan, but this one was actually a gift given to me by a good friend, and I was always shocked that he didn't want this anymore. It's a 1979 UK pressing, and it's Nick Drake, and this is the album Fruit Tree, the complete recorded works. So it's a 3-record set, and I will show you. Each record comes with its inner sleeve with a picture, and on the back, all the songs that are on there. And then it comes again inside the inner sleeve, inside that. So every record is protected beautifully. And it's these 3 albums that Nick Drake put out. That's 1, 2. This is Fruit Tree, all Fruit Tree, the completed works. This is 3, 1, and number 2. And there's a booklet to come with it. So a nice booklet, which and gives you all the lyrics to all the songs, which is really nice. I don't have to look for any more Nick Drake. I got everything here in this one box set. So that was a great, great present from a good friend of mine, and definitely cherish that forever. Most trashed record in your collection. All right, this will be number 11, the most trashed, as well as number 20, a promo. So the most trashed and the promo is Grateful Dead, Exo Maxo Maxo Uxa, however they pronounce it. Great record. It is a white label promo, which is really hard to come by on this particular one. But this record is so trashed. I mean, I wouldn't even, fair to poor would be the best you could do for this record. I've tried to listen to it and you can't listen to it. So I'm looking around to get a nice copy that I can actually listen to. But this one I'll hold on to because it is a white promo and it's really hard to find a white promo on this. So glad to have that anyway. So keep that around just for giggles. A local album. We're up in Maine. There are a number of musicians, but the one who I really think is one of the greatest musicians to come out of Maine is Lenny Breau. Lenny Breau is a jazz guitar player, born in Lewiston, Maine, even though at a young age he did move to Canada with his family, grew up mostly in Canada. His parents had a country western band. He had some issues with his parents. He left the band, and he then recorded a number of amazing albums. He had many drug and alcohol problems. He died fairly young in his early 30s under circumstances no one's really clear about. Whether he drowned, whether he was killed. No one was ever charged, but he died very young, and a great, great guitar player. Jazz, Lenny Breau, Breau. I have like 4 or 5 albums of his. I'm just showing this one. This is Lightning Strikes, and this is from 1982. Next one would be an album from before I saw that, Faraway Land. I already did that. Soundtrack, another interesting soundtrack. This is a record I picked up, knew nothing about it, and then found out that it's actually a soundtrack for a documentary. The documentary is called Atomic Cafe. And interestingly, I just saw that our local museum is going to be showing the documentary in September. So I'm definitely going to make sure I get tickets and go see the documentary. It's basically about the atomic bomb being set off. And what do they say? The Atomic Cafe is a feature film about the history and culture of the atomic age and of bizarre ways that the media sold the atomic arms race and nuclear energy to the American people in the 40s and 50s. So this has on here When the Atomic Bomb Fell by Carl and Hardy, Win the War Blues by Sonny Boy Williamson, Atomic Power by the Buchanan Brothers, Jesus Hits Like an Atom Bomb by Lowell Blanchard and the Valley Trio, When They Dropped the Atomic Bomb by Jackie Dole and his Pickled Peppers. So it's all class. It's a lot of rockabilly. It's a lot of country. It's just great stuff. Atomic Sermon by Billy Hughes and the Rhythm Buckaroos, Old Man Adam by Sons of the Pioneers, etc., etc. Just great, great stuff. Atomic Cafe on Rounder Records. So yeah, it's a soundtrack for the documentary, which I said our local library is going to be showing in September. So I'm definitely going to go check that out. Next is something highly recommended. Your highest recommendation. All right, this is something, it's not worth a lot, like 10, 15 bucks, but I only saw it once, and I know I've never seen it around, but I got it at Goodwill. I just didn't know anything about it. It was a blind buy, and I'm so happy I got it. And it's Eugene Wallace. And Eugene Wallace, this is his album, Book of Fool, and this came out in 1974. He was going to be the next Joe Cocker. All right, that gives you some idea of what it's like. Fantastic album. I mean, really, one of my favorite albums. If you like that Joe Cocker kind of singing, he's from England. They really didn't know how to produce him and make him work. It's on ABC. Nothing special there. They really didn't know how to produce him and how to get him out there right. He had a couple albums, but this is his first album. Is fantastic. Book of Fools, a lot of ringwear there. The record plays pretty good though. Eugene Wallace, Book of Fools, highly recommended. Highest on your want list. I got so much stuff on my want list. It's crazy. The one I'm really looking forward to trying to find right now is drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank. Sorry. It happens when you get to be 75 years old. You forget this shit. J.J. Cale, one of the first J.J. Cale album I think I'm looking for. Guy Clark's first album. I'm looking for, I got to get a copy of Dylan's John Wesley Hardin. I have my copy, which I got rid of because it was so scratched. I'd love to find a mono copy of that. There are a number of other records I'm looking for. But those are the three. The Guy Clark and the J.J. Cale and the Dylan are the three that's up on my want list right now. I got a long list, but it's actually on the phone that I'm recording this on, so I can't pull it up to go through it all. A channel shout out. I'm really digging recently the Vinyl Martini. If you don't know him, definitely check his stuff out. Great stuff. Very personable. Always showing interesting albums. Yeah, check him out. The Vinyl Martini. A A silver lining in the vinyl community. Dylan was saying how everyone's always complaining about the price of records and blah, blah, blah. The silver lining to me is all the people I've met through the VC. I've met people all over the world. I've met people and gone and met people from, I mean, I went out to England and I met another fat bearded man talking about records. I went to Washington State, Seattle area, and I met Mazzy. I was down in Texas and I met John Zeitler in Texas. I've met people from the vinyl community and all over the country, and it's just all over the world, and it's just great. That's really, to me, is a real silver lining. All the friends you make, all the people love music and turning each other onto different kinds of music. To me, that's the real joy of the vinyl community, for sure. And the last one, because I did number 20 as the promo, number 19 is the steal of a deal, and there's another one that I got. This one, about 6 years ago, I was at Goodwill, maybe 8 years ago, Goodwill here in Portland, and going through the records, and back then they were $1 each, and I pulled this out and I was like, oh my God. The Meters, and this is their first album, Sophisticated Sissy Strut, Ease Back, original pressing on Josie Records. I'll take that other thing because it's so cool. Original pressing on Josie, in really nice condition, cleaned up beautifully, cost $1, and Discogs from 1969, and Discogs has listed $132. So that's, for me, that's a really great buy. Really happy with that. So that's the summer tag. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope to do more videos more often now that I got this one done and summer not really winding down. It's in early August. But yeah, I hope to do more videos. If you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I do appreciate it. And until next time, peace.